Hi, my name is Mike Oglesby, and I'm a technical marketing engineer focused on AI solutions here at NetApp. Today, I'm going to show you how to use the NetApp Data Science Toolkit to rapidly provision a new data volume. So let's say that I'm a data scientist and I'm starting on a new AI project. And I'm going to be working within this Jupyter Notebook here within Jupyter Lab. So I'm going to be performing all of my training within this notebook. This is where I'm going to be setting up my environment, and going through all of my experiments. And for this project, let's say I'm going to be training my model on a pretty large data set, and so I need a new data volume that I can store my data set on. So first thing I need to do is I need to run this import statement here to import the create volume and list volume functions from the NetApp Data Science Toolkit. So let me just run this here, and it's done. Next, I'm going to go ahead and retrieve all of my existing volumes just so I know what I have out there right now before I create my new volume. So I'm going to call this list volumes function here. And I'm going to pass the parameter check local mounts equal to true because I want to see if any of my current volumes are mounted locally. So let me call this here, and I'm going to save the result in this variable here called volumes. So I run that, and now let's print out the contents of this variable called volumes. And you'll see I got back a list of all of my volumes with various attributes. And you'll see right now I only have one volume called Project 1. And so now I can proceed to creating a new volume for my new project that I'm starting on here. And so to do that, all I have to do is call the create volume function. And I just have to pass it a few attributes. So the first of those is volume name. This is the name of my new volume. And I'm going to call my new volume project 2. Next, I pass in my size. So just for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to request a 1 gigabyte volume. The next attribute is optional. That's mount point. So if I want to mount this new volume locally, I can pass in a mount point here, and I do want to mount this locally. So I'm just going to pass in uh, a new directory called project2 underscore data within my current working directory. In as the mount point. And then I want to see the output as my volume is being created, so I'm going to set print output equal to true. And now I just run this. And now my new volume's being created on the NetApp storage, and you'll see it was created successfully. And it was mounted locally at that project2 underscore data folder. And if you take a look over here at my current working directory, you'll see I now have a project2 underscore data folder over here. So this is where my newly created data volume is mounted. And now let's just retrieve all of our existing volumes to make sure that our new volume was created successfully and that everything looks correct. So I'm going to call this list volumes function again, and I'm going to save the result in this variable called volumes again. So let's run that. And now let's print out the contents of that volumes variable just to make sure that everything looks correct. And you'll see here's our new volume. It's named Project 2. It's 1 gigabyte in size. Here's our NFS mount target if we need to mount it on a different machine, but you'll see there is a value in this local mount point field here, so it is already mounted on our local machine here. Alternatively, if I'm not working within a Jupyter Notebook, or if I'm not working in Python period, I can use the NetApp Data Science Toolkit's CLI functionality to provision my new data volume. And so all I have to do to create a new data volume using the CLI is run this command here. So I reference the NetApp Data Science Toolkit Python program. Then I run the create volume command. And then I have to pass in a few attributes. So the first attribute I'm going to pass in is the name of my new volume, and we'll call it project 3. And then I have to give the size. And for the purposes of this demo, I'm just going to create a 1 gigabyte volume. And then I'm not going to pass in the mount point because I don't want to mount this new volume locally. So let me run this here. And my new volume is being created on my NetApp storage system. And it's done. And now to list all of my existing volumes to make sure that this new volume was created correctly, all I have to do is run the list volumes command. So I reference the NetApp Data Science Toolkit Python program, and then I give my command, which is list volumes. And there's all of my existing data volumes. So you'll see that project 1 volume that we started out with, then the project 2 volume that we created from the Jupyter Notebook, and then the project 3 volume that we just created from the CLI. And you'll see that project 3 volume is not mounted locally. But here's our NFS mount target for the newly created volume if we do happen to want to mount that on this local machine or any other machine. And that's it. It is really that simple to provision a new data volume with the NetApp Data Science Toolkit.